Live for the main event, Rosenstrike versus Gaziev. Man, the last three fights have been an absolute snooze fest. So maybe we'll get lucky and we'll see a good fight. More than likely, we're probably going to see somebody get knocked out in the first, I don't know, 60 seconds. That's what I'm assuming is going to happen. You want a treat, Bubba's? All right, Shamil Gaziev, undefeated 12-0. This is his second fight in the UFC. He's got one win on the Contender Series, one win in the UFC, and he's already headlining an Apex main event. That just goes to show you exactly what the Apex is. Oh, the Apex. Dana White. Can we just go to some stadiums? You know what I mean? Like, why do we have to be at the Apex? Why? Because you know a card like this isn't going to sell out no matter where you put it. So you're going to lose money on it. So you're like, these crap cards that I'm going to put on, I'm just going to do them at the Apex. And this way I don't have to worry about losing my ass on the gate. That's the truth. All right, Rosenstrike is about to come to the octagon. And maybe add a little juice into this main card that has been pretty lackluster. Matt Schnell got flatlined by Urseg with a beautiful left hook, but Matt Schnell sucks. I told everyone he sucks. I knew that fight wasn't going to be close. And guess what? It wasn't close. It wasn't close. Urseg wins by second round knockout. And then we had the Makayev-Perez fight, snooze fest. And then the last fight, the Tyson-Pedro Petrino fight, was even worse. I don't understand how that fight could have possibly been any worse, but it was. It was such a boring fight. Low level everything. The standard at the Apex. And the juxtaposition between this card and what we're going to see next week at UFC 299 couldn't be any more different. That UFC 299 card is going to be super lit. Headlined by Sean O'Malley and Marlon Chito Vera 2, the rematch. I like O'Malley in that fight. In the first fight, he was chewing him up with some leg kicks. We'll see how the fight moves on if Marlon Vera can kind of get O'Malley to the ground. Because if you're going to fight a guy like Sean O'Malley in space, ask Aljo how that turned out for him. Not so good. So I like Sean O'Malley to win that fight over Chito Vera. Rosenstrike is on his way to the octagon right now for the main event of UFC Las Vegas 87. And then the co-main event, Dustin Poirier versus Benoit Saint-Denis. Woo! That fight is going to be absolute fire. Dustin Poirier, had some rumblings this week. He talked to TMZ and was like, this is my 30th UFC fight. I'm 35 years old. Every fight I fight could be a potential, career ender. So if Dustin Poirier goes out and gets flatlined again, you might have seen the end of Dustin Poirier in the UFC. Maybe he come back for a Conor McGregor 4, but I don't know. Rosenstrike to win by KO plus 180. 180, he said. Ooh, that went off the screen super fast. I was reading it. All right, Gaziev, Rosenstrike, heavyweight main event coming at you. Gaziev has only had one fight in the UFC, and he's already got a main event. Like, I hate the Apex. Oh, the Apex. 35 years old for Jarrinho, 34 for Shamil, 6'4" versus 6'2". Rosenstrike 257, Gaziev 261, approaching that 265 limit. 78-inch reach, 78.5-inch reach for Gaziev, so pretty close. These numbers are as close as it gets in the heavyweight division. About the same age, weight, height, reach. All right, I'm guessing this fight is going to be over in the next 2 minutes. Let's see what happens. Joe Martinez is doing his intros. And shit is about to go down. All right. Intros are coming in. Gaziev versus Rosenstrike. UFC main event, 5-round fight. No chance this fight's going the distance. No chance. If it gets out of the first round, I'm going to be super shocked. They're both going to come out throwing absolute missiles, and somebody's going to sleep. Or could this be a Francis Ngannou, Derek Lewis situation where they just like play patty cake the whole time? Yo, what's up, Detroit? Yo, the Lions. The Lions are going to be a problem next year, bro. The Lions are going to be a serious problem. If they can fix that secondary, dude, Detroit. I do a lot of football content on the channel, so if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel because I do a ton of football stuff. And if the Lions can fix that secondary, dude, they're going to be super legit. Like, Super Bowl contender for years. That offensive line, the way they bullied San Francisco's D-line, oh my gosh, man. The Lions' offensive line is so impressive. I'm really, thanks for subbing, dude. I'm definitely going to do a lot of draft content. And I'm picking the Lions. That's my team that I'm picking to go to the Super Bowl next year from the NFC. I think they're the most complete team by far. They're so good. And I love their head coach. Jared Goff is really coming into his own. They run the ball really well behind that great offensive line. They need to go out in free agency and get some cornerbacks. It looks like C.J. Gardner-Johnson's going to leave Detroit in free agency. Yeah, I mean, Detroit, they really come into their own, man. They're so impressive. I still can't believe Campbell blew that game against the 49ers. That blows my mind how that happened. All right, we're in the opening minutes of this Rosenstrike-Gaziev fight. They're both kind of feeling each other out. Gaziev has the center of the octagon, pressing Rosenstrike up against the cage. Oh, big shot by Rosenstrike. They both look so scared of the other guy's power. But yeah, I love the Lions, man. I think they're going to be great next year. Give them a couple cornerbacks, a couple safeties. Maybe help out Hutchinson on the D-line. They're going to be sick. Big feeling out process in the first minute of this Rosenstrike-Gaziev main event. Both looking a little gun shy at the moment. Both biting hard on the face. It looks like Gaziev is trying to take Rosenstrike down, which is a little surprising. I'm surprised he's not throwing some heat. Big feints from both guys. No one's really throwing anything yet. Rosenstrike is trying to pepper the jab a little bit out there, get Gaziev off of him. But Rosenstrike is just sitting back on the fence, and that's never good. You got to get off the fence, man. Especially with heavyweights, you can't have a guy march you down. Man, Gaziev is big. You got to get some respect. Rosenstrike needs to get some respect. You got to, and Rosenstrike's just throwing one punch at a time. You got to throw combinations. Got to throw some combos. Nice right hand from Rosenstrike, lands flush on Gaziev. It's been a little bit of a slow start. First 2 minutes in the bank. 3 minutes to go in the first round. Number 12, Rosenstrike versus Gaziev, fighting in his first main event, his second UFC fight. Man, Rosenstrike is just living on the fence. He just got nice 1-2 by Gaziev. Ooh, nice jab from Rosenstrike. Backs up Gaziev a little bit. Man, Rosenstrike's got to throw some combinations. He's just throwing one punch at a time. Lazy. And man, Gaziev is so flat-footed. He's just marching like Frankenstein right in front of Rosenstrike. Ooh, big 1-2, just misses Rosenstrike. Oh my gosh. And this heavyweight division is so sloppy. Rosenstrike, get off the fence. Rosenstrike is just living on the fence, man. Gaziev has him tied up against the fence, in the clinch. Rosenstrike's only throwing one punch at a time. So he's easily getting marched down, pushed up against the fence. And it's weird. Gaziev looks like he wants to wrestle. I thought he was going to throw hands a little bit more, but not so much. Now they're just kind of leaning on each other against the fence. This fight's actually going to make it out of the first round, surprisingly, it looks like. Minute left. Ooh, big knee from Rosenstrike. Nice single leg takedown by Gaziev. He's got control. In half guard now. Rosenstrike is flat. On his back. Man, Rosenstrike's game is so low level, man. He's so low level. His ground game is so bad. He's only throwing one and maybe a 1-2, and that's it. Looks like he's going for a head and arm choke. He's got to clear that hip. Looks like he's going to clear that. Looks like Rosenstrike's going to survive the first round. Somehow, this fight goes against all odds and goes with it goes with the rest of this card. It's been so boring. This card has sucked. I was getting so much shit from everyone saying that this card was going to be so good, but it's been a dumpster fire, man. An absolute snooze fest. And Rosenstrike is completely gassed and just falls onto the stool. We are in between rounds of the main event, Gaziev versus Rosenstrike. And if you skip the UFC this week, guys, you're not missing it. You're not missing a lot. It hasn't been the best card, man. Has not been the best card. I thought I was going to be proved wrong with that first fight. I knew Matt Schnell was going to get worked because he's just got worked by everybody. He's been hurt a lot. He's getting older now. And, man, he got crushed by a left hand. Absolutely crushed. It was crazy, man. He got smoked. Rosenstrike just looks like he fought a 5-round fight. Getting off the stool there. Gaziev is really, really trying to get takedowns, though. Really trying to go for the takedown. They both look, they're sucking so much wind right now. 1 round of a 5-round fight, and they're both dying. Rosenstrike needs 10 seconds into the second round. He's already backed up against the fence. Rosenstrike has nothing to his game. He's just getting marched down, pushed up against the fence. He's going to go for a single leg. Yeah, Rosenstrike needs to start throwing some bombs and get some respect because he's just getting marched down. And he's only throwing one punch at a time. Man, this is such a low-level fight. And that was like the worst leg kick I think I've ever seen in my life. Dude, these heavyweights are so low-level, man. This is a terrible fight. They're both already completely gassed. Super lazy. Rosenstrike has lived up against the fence the majority of the fight. Come on, guys. Somebody do something. Rosenstrike jab looks pretty nice. But he's like jabbing and backing up and just getting pushed up against the fence. And Gaziev is way better on the ground. He's looking for that single leg. And it's coming soon. I don't think Rosenstrike has landed one flush shot this whole fight. Man, this fight is going with the rest of this card, guys. If you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I do tons of MMA, a lot of NFL stuff. So thank you guys so much for tuning into the live stream. Leave me some messages in the comments. What do you guys think about UFC 299? What are some of your favorite fights? You think O'Malley's going to beat Cheeto? I like him in that fight. I like Gilbert Burns over Jack Della Maddalena. I think Kevin Holland gets it done over Michael Venom Page, but you don't know. Michael Venom Page is very unpredictable. He's got a really weird style to deal with. It should be an interesting fight. And then Benoit Saint Denis versus Dustin Poirier, another great fight. I hope Poirier wins because I really don't want to see Poirier retire. I never thought that this heavyweight fight could be more boring than the last fight, but it's somehow taken that cake. Can somebody land something? Yeah, Rosenstrike is so bad. The fact that Rosenstrike is a ranked fighter blows my mind. He's so bad. He's been living against the fence the whole time. Gaziev in the first round was going for the wrestling, but I think he gassed himself out because now he's not throwing any punches. He hasn't went for any shots at all whatsoever. I don't know what is going on. Gaziev looks like he just adrenaline dumped super hard. Rosenstrike's jab looks pretty good, but here comes the single leg. Rosenstrike's up against the fence again. Shocker. Here comes the trip. He's got the single leg hoisted. He dropped it. And the clinch up against the fence. Rosenstrike has been living against the fence. Straight trash. Man, this fight sucks. I actually thought this card was going to be a little bit better than it is. But it's actually been worse than I thought it was going to be. So check out some of my other videos where I predicted how all these fights would go. 4 fights. All favorites won. And if the favorite wins in this fight, Gaziev cleared house. I told you guys, that was the bet to make. All the 4 big favorites, do that parlay. I mean, this main event was kind of a coin flip. So if you're into betting, definitely subscribe to the channel, guys, because I'm giving you great bets. I knew that the 4-leg parlay was going to hit of the 4 fights. We had Urseg win, Umar won, Makayev won, and Petrino won. I said that in my videos this week that you got to bet that parlay, 4-leg parlay. I don't really typically like doing parlays over like 2, but 2 fighters. 4, you don't really, I mean, because some crazy, I think like Bashkarat, I think he was like minus 900 and he lost earlier. So, man, if you put him in a parlay, that's why you can't put huge odds in parlays. Anything over minus 400, just don't, you don't bet guys over minus 400 in parlays. You just don't do it. The juice is just not worth the squeeze. Rosenstrike is camped out against the fence for the 100th time in this fight. Watching this UFC card has been like drinking 11 gallons of chamomile tea. That's how boring this card has been. Oh my goodness. Look how tired they are. It's the end of the 2nd round. And they look like they're both going to die. Rosenstrike never needed a stool so bad in his life. Man, he is sucking serious wind. He is mouth breathing. His chest is he's crazy breathing right now. Like he just ran a marathon. Something's going on with Gaziev's nose. He had to take out his mouthpiece. They're working on his nose in the corner. I don't know if he caught an elbow or something. But they both just look so gassed. And if he broke his nose, Gaziev's going to be even more gassed. You guys ready for UFC 299? I cannot wait. The next 2 pay-per-view cards are amazing. Amazing. They're just advertising. Sean O'Malley versus Chito Vera. $10 off UFC 299. Offer ends March 4th. For the Saturday, March 9th. Next week, we have an incredible, finally, a pay-per-view that we can all get behind and love. UFC 299. All right, we're cracking in round 3 of this dumpster fire card. These heavyweights both look Superman gassed. 30 seconds into the 3rd round, and there's been 1 leg kick thrown. The UFC's got to be so embarrassed by this main event. It's been such a low-level fight. That's why you don't put a guy in a UFC main event who has one fight in the UFC. Unless you're Alex Pereira. That's an exception, not some bum heavyweight who's flat-footed, bad wrestling, mediocre power. Rosenstrike just throws one jab at a time. He's not doing anything. He's not putting together any combinations. No leg kicks. One jab here. Jab. 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 Come on, dude. Can you throw a right hand? How about an uppercut or a cross? Do you know how to throw those, Rosenstrike? He's just throwing jab after jab after jab. Oh, my God. Oh! Even, like, these exchanges have been so boring. And weird, Rosenstrike, his back is up against the fence for the 400th time in this fight. And it's not like Gaziev is throwing these monster shots or big combinations. And Rosenstrike just threw a leg kick and almost fell over. I don't even know how you score this fight. We got Rosenstrike, Gaziev, the number 12 ranked heavyweight versus an unranked guy. This is a very low-level fight. If you're not watching it live, you're not missing anything, guys. This live stream is 100,000% more entertaining than this dumpster fire fight that you're watching right now. This shit sucks. You could take a walk with a blindfold on and you'd be way more entertained than you would be right now watching this crap. God, Rosenstrike jab. He's only throwing jabs this whole fight. All right, we're halfway through this horrendous third round. I can't believe this is a 5-round fight. Man, if you had cojones of steel and you bet the over 1.5 rounds, over 2.5 rounds, over 3.5 rounds, you are making some dough right now. But I wouldn't have been that guy, that's for sure. I thought this fight was going to be over early, but man, it's been... I don't know how it could be more boring. I guess they could lay down and, like, try to kick each other while they're both laying on the ground. What do you mean, what sport, dude? Whoo, this fight is so boring. Any sport. You could watch any other sport and it would be more entertaining than this. You could watch ping pong and it would be more entertaining than the fight we're watching right now. Actually, can I put on ESPN 85 and put ping pong on? Because that would be a lot more entertaining than what the heck I'm watching right now. I'm watching the UFC Las Vegas 87. So there's a fight night on ESPN Plus, and I'm watching the main event. Jarinia Rosenstrike, the number 12 ranked heavyweight, is fighting Gaziev in the main event of UFC Las Vegas 87. And this whole card has been pretty boring. And this is a big heavyweight fight, and I think a lot of people thought there was going to be a lot of action and an early knockout. And it's been a very, very low-level fight. They've been super tired. It's been pretty boring, man. I don't even know what to do. I don't even know. I can't talk about this fight because there's nothing to talk about. All Jarinia Rosenstrike is doing is he's feinting and he's throwing a jab. He's feinting, throwing jabs. That's it. That's all he's doing. And a right hand over the top for Gaziev. And Gaziev looked good in the first round. He was mixing in his wrestling a little bit. And now Gaziev looks just gassed. Absolutely gassed. 10 seconds left in the third round of this heavyweight main event between Gaziev and Rosenstrike that probably should have been on the prelims. Woo! The third round is over, and thank God for that. We only have 2 more rounds to go in this fight. And these guys look like they just ran 487 miles. I've never seen 2 guys look so tired in my life. Gaziev looks like he's going to die. Something's going on with his nose. I think O'Malley wins that fight. So I just watched the tape on that earlier fight, and Sean O'Malley really managed the distance well, and he was crushing Cheeto's legs with those leg kicks, man. If you go on on YouTube or whatever, you can watch the first fight, and Sean O'Malley just crushed him with leg kicks for the majority of that first round. He was piecing him up pretty good. And I don't really see that changing. I mean, Cheeto landed that perennial nerve kick, but that was kind of lucky. I mean, he did a great job finishing the fight on the ground. Once it got to the ground, you saw how good Cheeto was with top control by landing those big elbows and kind of swimming through Sean's arms and really attacking. But he's got to get him to the ground to do that. If O'Malley can manage the distance like he did in that Aljamain Sterling fight, I don't think Cheeto has a chance. But Cheeto's really hard to finish. So if it goes past the third round, we get into the championship rounds 4 and 5, Cheeto could turn the tables a little bit, but he would have had to win one of the first 2 rounds in order to get a W. I think Sean O'Malley's going to come out strong. I don't know if he finishes him, but I think Sean O'Malley's going to do enough to win a decision. And Cheeto's going to have to really put it on Sean O'Malley to take the belt from him by winning a decision. Can he stop Sean? Can Sean gas out? And potentially Cheeto take the fight to the ground? That's his only way to win this fight. I don't think he's going to beat him in a strike. If he's going to try to strike with him, it's going to be an uphill battle for Cheeto Vera. All right, they're starting to throw some punches now. Gaziev goes in on a single leg again. Gaziev's been living. Yeah, I mean, Sean O'Malley's cardio is pretty good. If you watch those Peter Yan fights, I mean, Sean O'Malley can dig deep, for sure. But Cheeto is very, very durable. He can take a lot of punishment and just keep on fighting, man. There's not too many guys as tough as Cheeto Vera. I don't think he's ever been finished in the UFC at all. So I expect this fight to go into the championship rounds for sure. I don't know if his cardio is necessarily better, but he's durable. He's a lot more durable than Sean O'Malley's been hurt a bunch of times in his fight. He broke his ankle in that one fight, and then the perennial nerve thing with his knee. He got beat up a little bit in that Peter Yan fight. So Cheeto's definitely more durable. Their cardio is probably about the same. But if Sean O'Malley gets in a situation where he fought that one guy, I forget his name, who was like a late replacement, and Sean O'Malley started getting tired because he just kept punching and beating the shit out of this guy for like 4 rounds. And you could see Sean O'Malley kind of overthrew a little bit in that fight. And, he was kind of sucking wind in that 4th and 5th round. The fight eventually got stopped because Sean O'Malley was just piecing this bum up. All right, we are halfway through the 4th round. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that was the fight. The guy with the crazy hair. It was like green hair or something like that. And Sean just beat the shit out of him for the whole fight. It was hard to watch. And towards the end of that fight, you saw Sean O'Malley suck and win because he was just getting tired from just punching the brakes off this dude. But I think Sean O'Malley should win this fight. I mean, he took so much punishment, man. It was I never seen anything like that. It was hard to watch. That dude got CTE from that fight 100%. Sean was just taking a baseball bat to this guy's face for 4 rounds. And the dude just kept eating it and walking forward. It was sick, man. It was gross. All right, 1.5 minutes left in the 4th round. Somehow these guys are both still standing. Yeah, that guy's tough, you know what I mean? I don't think he's even in the UFC anymore. I think he got cut. But the dude is Superman tough. Superman tough. Minute left in this Rozenstruik-Gaziev fight that has been an absolute snooze fest. Gaziev's face is a little busted up from Rozenstruik's jab, but he hasn't landed any tough shots at all. Nice leg kick by Rozenstruik. He needs more of that. Man, Gaziev looks tired. I think Gaziev's nose is broken, so he's having a lot of trouble breathing right now. It looks like Rozenstruik broke Gaziev's nose, and he's really starting to tire out. 50 seconds left in the 4th round. Rozenstruik seems to be getting a second wind a little bit. But he's just throwing one punch at a time. Mouthpiece comes flying out. Rosenstrike lets him get it back in. 30 seconds left in the 4th round. $20 seconds left. Gaziev looks super gassed. I think Rosenstrike's potentially winning a decision right now. He's definitely, I think, won the last couple rounds because Gaziev was wrestling earlier in the fight, and I think he gassed himself out. And it looks like his nose is broken, so he's having a lot of trouble breathing. Rosenstrike's pouring it on the last couple seconds. And we're going into round 5. This fight, man, if you bet the overs in this fight, you are making some money. 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, all cashed, man. Woo! Man, Gaziev looks super gassed. He can't breathe at all. I think Rosenstrike's winning this fight. It might come down to this last round. Thanks, dude. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We do MMA stuff all the time. Thanks for coming into the chat and chopping it up a little bit. I love chopping it up with you guys. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. All right, we're into the last round. Rosenstrike Gaziev has made it somehow to the 5th round. I can't even believe that this fight card, man, this main card, woo, man, oh my gosh. I told everyone how bad this card was going to be, but I didn't think it could possibly be as bad as it is right now. Rosenstrike is having a lot of success with the jab. It looks like the doctors are coming in to look at his nose because he can't breathe, I don't think. Doctors are coming in to look. Gaziev looks like he wants out. I think they're going to stop the fight. Gaziev looks like he wants out. He doesn't look like a guy who wants to fight. They're checking his nose. He said he can't breathe. He said he's shaking his head. Doctor's going to wave this fight off, I think, guys. Not only do we get a horrible main event, we get a guy quitting. Is he going to quit? He quit. Oh, my God, he quit. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my God. I told you this fight and this card was going to be trash. Gaziev just quit. 1 round left. Couldn't hack it for the last round. Looks like something's going on with his nose. Couldn't breathe. Oh, wow. That's insane. Now what's happening? The doctor's back in. Mark Goddard already waved the fight off. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to the live stream. Appreciate all of you tuning in, chopping it up in the comments. It's been fun, even though this card sucks. Maybe UFC 299, I'll come in and chop it up with all you fools. All right, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace!